Walk into any motorcycle dealership today, and you'll see something that would have been unthinkable 10 years ago. Electric motorcycles sitting right next to the Harleys and sport bikes, with salespeople who actually know how to talk about them. But here's the question that matters. Are people actually buying them? Because the hype around electric motorcycles has been building for years. We've seen the jaw-dropping performance numbers, the zero emissions promises, the tech company money pouring in. Yet when you look around on the road, you still see maybe one electric bike for every 100 gas-powered ones. So what's really happening here? Are electric motorcycles genuinely ready to replace your gas bike? Or are we still in the experimental phase where only early adopters and tech enthusiasts need to pay attention? Let's start with what electric motorcycles do objectively better than gas bikes, because this list is longer than most people realize. Instant torque. Every single electric motor delivers maximum torque from 0 RPM. On a gas bike, you need to be in the power band, in the right gear, at the right RPM to access peak performance. On an electric bike, you twist the throttle at any speed in any situation, and you get everything the motor can deliver right now. The acceleration is genuinely shocking, even on mid-range electric bikes. A 0 SR-F will destroy most leader bikes in a straight line up to 60 miles per hour. The physics are just different. Maintenance is dramatically simpler. No oil changes, no valve adjustments, no air filters, no spark plugs, no clutch plates to replace. The drivetrain on an electric motorcycle has maybe 5 moving parts compared to hundreds on a gas bike. You've got the motor, the controller, the battery, the rear wheel, and that's essentially it. Brake pads, tires, suspension service. That's your maintenance schedule. For urban commuters who see motorcycles as transportation rather than hobby, this is transformative. The cost of ownership over 5 years can actually be lower despite higher purchase prices. The silence is polarizing, but it has genuine advantages. You can ride through residential neighborhoods at 6 in the morning without waking anyone up. You can have a conversation with your passenger without shouting. Track day noise restrictions don't apply. Some riders find the silence eerie and miss the exhaust note that's been part of motorcycling for a century. Others find it meditative and say it makes them more aware of their surroundings because they're not drowning in engine noise. Environmental impact is obviously better, though it's more nuanced than the marketing suggests. Yes, zero tailpipe emissions, but electricity has to come from somewhere, and if your grid is coal-powered, you're still creating emissions just elsewhere. That said, even on a coal-heavy grid, the total life cycle emissions of an electric motorcycle are lower than gas equivalents. And as grids get cleaner, your bike automatically gets cleaner without you doing anything. Your gas bike will always produce the same emissions, regardless of how renewable your local power becomes. Now let's talk about where electric motorcycles still fall short, because this is the honest conversation that determines whether they're actually ready for mainstream adoption. Range is the obvious one. A decent gas motorcycle can go 300 miles on a tank, maybe more if you're conservative with the throttle. Most electric motorcycles struggle to hit 150 miles in real-world conditions. The Energica Ego claims 140 miles of range. Ride it on the highway at 75 miles per hour, and you might see 80. That's not theoretical, that's what actual owners report. Range anxiety is real, and it fundamentally changes how you plan rides. But range alone isn't the killer problem. It's range combined with charging infrastructure. Gas stations are everywhere. You can refuel in 5 minutes and you're gone. Electric motorcycle charging is scattered, unreliable, and slow. Even with a level 3 fast charger, you're looking at 45 minutes to an hour to get to 80% charge. That turns a 6-hour ride into an 8 or 9-hour ride when you factor in finding chargers and waiting. For commuting, this doesn't matter. You charge at home overnight and you're always full in the morning. For touring, for road trips, for the kind of long-distance freedom that defines motorcycling for many riders, electric is still compromised.
The charging infrastructure is improving, but it's fragmented. Tesla built a cohesive supercharger network for their cars. Motorcycles don't have that. You're relying on third-party networks like ChargePoint or EVgo, and compatibility varies by bike. Some locations have the right plug for your bike, others don't. Some chargers are broken and nobody's fixed them. Planning a long trip on an electric motorcycle currently requires apps, backup plans, and a tolerance for uncertainty that most riders don't want to deal with. cost remains a significant barrier. A Zero SRF starts around $20,000. A Harley-Davidson Livewire is over $22,000. For that money, you could buy a top-tier gas sport bike with more range, more performance in some metrics, and established dealer networks for service. Yes, you'll save money on fuel and maintenance over time, but that upfront cost is a psychological barrier. Most motorcycle buyers don't do total cost of ownership calculations over 5 years. They look at the price tag and make a gut decision. Battery degradation is the long-term concern nobody wants to talk about, honestly. Your battery will lose capacity over time. How much depends on how you use it, how you charge it, climate conditions, all the factors we covered earlier. But even under ideal conditions, you're looking at 70 to 80% of original capacity after 8 to 10 years. That 150-mile range becomes 105 miles. And when the battery does eventually need replacement, you're looking at costs that can be $8,000 to $10,000. That's more than many used motorcycles cost entirely. The economics of keeping an electric motorcycle beyond battery life are questionable unless battery prices drop dramatically. Performance-wise, electric bikes excel at acceleration, but they struggle with sustained high performance. The battery and motor generate heat under hard use, and when temperatures get too high, the bike goes into thermal limiting mode. Power gets reduced to prevent damage. This is fine for street riding, but it's a real issue on track. After 2 or 3 hard laps, many electric motorcycles start pulling power. Gas bikes can run at redline all day as long as you keep oil in them. Electric bikes need to manage heat, and that means managing power delivery. Weight is another challenge. Batteries are heavy. A Zero SRF weighs over 500 pounds. That's sport touring weight with sport bike performance, and you feel it in slow-speed maneuvers and when pushing the bike around. Some of that weight is low and centralized, which helps handling, but it's still mass you have to manage. So, where does this leave us? Are electric motorcycles ready for mainstream adoption? The answer is, it depends entirely on what mainstream means to you. If you're a commuter riding 30 miles a day in an urban environment, electric motorcycles are absolutely ready. They're cheaper to operate, easier to maintain, and the range limitations don't affect you. You charge at home, you ride to work, you charge again, repeat. The experience is superior to gas bikes for this use case. If you're a weekend canyon carver who does a 100-mile loop on Saturday mornings, electric works. The performance is there, the range is adequate, you're home before you need to charge. If you value silence and smoothness over exhaust note, you might actually prefer electric for this riding. But if you're a touring rider, if you do multi-day trips, if you value the freedom to ride until you're tired and then refuel in 5 minutes and keep going, electric motorcycles aren't ready yet. The infrastructure isn't there, the range isn't there, and the compromises are too significant. You can make it work with careful planning and patience, but it's not the seamless experience that motorcycling has traditionally offered.
The technology is advancing rapidly. Battery energy density improves every year. Charging infrastructure expands. Costs gradually come down as production scales up. 5 years from now, this conversation will be different. We'll have 300-mile range bikes, faster charging, ubiquitous infrastructure, and prices that compete directly with gas bikes. But we're not there yet. What we're seeing now is the early adopter phase transitioning into the early majority phase. Electric motorcycles are no longer experimental curiosities. They're real products from real manufacturers with real dealer networks. Harley-Davidson, Ducati, BMW, they're all investing heavily in electric. That tells you where the industry sees the future. But there's still a gap between the future and the present. Here's my take. If an electric motorcycle fits your specific use case, if you've honestly assessed your riding patterns and you know you can live within the current limitations, buy one. The experience is genuinely different and in many ways better than gas bikes. The technology works, the reliability is proven, and you'll be part of pushing the industry forward. But don't buy an electric motorcycle because you think you should, or because it's the future, or because you feel guilty about emissions. Buy it because it actually serves your needs better than the alternatives. For most riders, gas motorcycles still make more sense. They're more versatile, they're cheaper, they have a century of refinement behind them, and they work seamlessly for any type of riding you want to do. There's no shame in that. The revolution is happening. It's real, it's inevitable, but it's not complete yet. We're in the transition period, and transition periods are messy and complicated and full of compromises. Electric motorcycles are ready for mainstream adoption in specific segments: urban commuting, short recreational riding, environmentally conscious riders with appropriate use cases. They're not ready to completely replace gas motorcycles for all riders in all situations, and that's okay. This isn't a binary switch, it's a gradual evolution. The infrastructure will improve, the technology will advance, the prices will come down, and eventually electric will make sense for more and more riders. But we measure that timeline in years, maybe decades, not months. The revolution is here, but it's still in progress.